Well, it finally happened. The wonders of the idol industry has struck the VTuber world. Now, this is funny because I honestly, covering anime for as long as I have, obviously one aspect that's connected to anime is the idol industry. So it's something that I'm very, very familiar with. But despite the fact that there's so many videos out there right now covering this whole situation with this VTuber named Rushia, who apparently got a message on one of her streams through Discord, and kind of implying that there was a relationship with another VTuber. I'm not really so much into that whole thing because I think plenty of people have covered the negativity that has surrounded that. Tons of people that are coming out and saying, "Oh, Rushia, how dare you betray me? I've gave you so much money. How dare you?" That whole idea has been over talked about. Yes, there's obviously people out there that get way too into these VTubers, or idols if you want to go in that realm, but I don't really want to talk so much about that, but really the stemming problem with this whole situation, this idea of why Andrew is not shocked by this. Why is this not a shock to me? And really not necessarily that it's so much a problem with the fans, but necessarily an issue with the industry itself. This concept of why do people get so wrapped up in this stuff? Why is there such a emotional reaction to one of these VTubers having a relation or possibly having a relationship? It's their prerogative. I don't care. And honestly, it goes to the argument that nobody should care. But what I want to talk about again is, why does this happen? Why exactly do we have this reaction? Why is there an issue here that I think most people don't really look at? Yes, a lot of people will point out the fact that a lot of this stems from this idol industry mentality and exactly what it does to people that in some cases are lonely, or maybe just not all right in the head. But yes, as I stated before, being in anime as much as I have, I am very familiar with the concept of idols and what the industry of idols creates in Japan. Now, this is a concept that I think probably stems from Hollywood in the West that kind of gets taken over by Japan and they make it into their own thing. But what is the concept of the idol? This idea of creating a persona around a single person that they embody. Now, the argument that I make with a lot of people when they say, well, when Arnold Schwarzenegger gets married or something like that, and it's not like a bunch of people get angry at him. So why in the idol sphere, when you hear about somebody having a boyfriend or girlfriend, they immediately get graduated, which is basically fired. And this is this idea that everybody gets angry because this person has a relationship. Well, again, look into what an idol is. What is the idol industry itself? Like I said before, it's not just taking somebody and having them act out a role and they go back to their normal life. In the idea of a idol, it's very different than an actor. They become an embodiment of the caricature they become. They're always seen that way. Every appearance that they go anywhere, they are that character. And this isn't something that remained in Japan. Slowly over time, you did see this actually get adopted in Western culture. I don't know how many times I looked at, random advertisement on Disney Channel or something like that and realized at some point, wow, the West is trying to create idols. There's so many actresses, young actresses that were on Disney Channel and stuff that were becoming idols. They did music, they did stage play, they did their typical TV shows. They were trying to create idols over here. And it has the same issue there, is creating a character that they embody, and then eventually over time, they can't shed. And that was the same issue with Japan and their introduction of idols. Again, not just having a person act a character and then no longer act them afterwards, but become an embodiment of a certain type of being. It is essentially creating an idol, something that people will always treasure and want to protect and want to support, and that's the whole concept of it. It is this idea of creating a bunch of girls, typically, that are trying to struggle to get up the ladder, and their whole persona is built around their caricature that they always embody. And so the illusion that it creates to anybody that supports them or watches them is this idea of, this is this person, I like them so much, they're this caricature that I enjoy and that I want to be around, that makes me happy, and so I want to put everything I can into supporting this thing. And so when they find out that thing no longer technically needs support because they are now in a relationship, is it shock to anybody that that's a problem? Again, I'm not blaming them for having a relationship. I'm just saying the idol industry itself creates that caricature that they want people to attach to and support. And then once it's no longer in that realm of availability, not that I think that most people, and this is just a generalizing because I don't think this whole idea of everybody hates Rushia, all these bad people. I think it's just a group of people, probably very small, that say things, and so everybody thinks, oh my gosh, there's a terrible group of people. Fans of VTubers are terrible. Fans of idols are terrible. No, it's just like these few people that take it too far because, again, sometimes they're not in the right mind. And again, the idol industry itself and how it's set up manipulates that. So I guess my perspective that I want to bring into this whole topic is that people need to understand that this is built to manipulate people. And again, we have more examples of that coming over from Japan in the idea that you have streamers. What do live streamers, mostly female, do? They create a persona that they want people to enjoy watching them. And then eventually when that breaks, the moment that a male walks behind them in the camera, what happens? Everybody gets angry. Because again, what are they selling? They're selling a persona, something that people enjoy and want to support because they like it. Not so much the idea of the simp where they're thirsty and they want attention, so they're throwing a bunch of money at them. There's those people. But it's selling a character to the viewer. And so jump forward, you have this concept of VTubers be created. Technically, you had the creation of Hatsune Miku, you had Kizuna Ai, you had Hololive. All these people are jumping on this idea of live streaming with a persona of a caricature that looks like an anime character. And it's from an industry that honestly is bred from the idol industry. So is it no shock that when they create these girls that are VTubers that go out there and they act all cute and support me and I'm doing all this great stuff and cute, great, you sent me more money, oh thank you so much, I love you, and they keep saying I love you, and to these people that want something and they're attaching to something, a waifu character that technically is somebody behind it. The issue that you run into is similar to the idol industry where suddenly there's a disconnect. Again, I'm not apologizing for people getting angry at VTubers and idols for having relationships. I think it's wrong, but it doesn't surprise me. That's the big difference there. Again, with a VTuber, you're creating a persona from an industry that is about exploiting people to watch and support and pour everything into, and then the moment that illusion is broken, they get angry. And I think a lot of people, it's not so much about the idea of breaking the illusion that's an anime character waifu, but more the fact that, again, if you have this typically female that you're trying to support, it seems like they need support, and you're trying to help them with this job that needs donations to work, is it such a shock the moment they realize all that money they're pouring into is somebody that is, yes, claimed, or somebody that has a relationship that could support them anyways? It's a different viewpoint to look at it. Not necessarily that it's breaking this illusion that this is your girlfriend, but more the idea that it's breaking the illusion that this person's alone, needs your help, and again, is marketed to come help me and support me, no longer technically needs that support because they have a significant other that they're in a relationship with and they don't technically need you anymore. Not to say that because they're in a relationship, they suddenly have a bunch of money and somebody's supporting them and that the male needs to support the female. But again, it's that illusion that's being broken that this is a person alone that is connected to you, that supplies you with joy, that you want to support monetarily. It's not a huge shock to me. So again, my frustration isn't surrounding idols and VTubers and actors and actresses getting relationships. I support that wholly. I'm super happy if Rushia is in a relationship. I'm super happy if an idol is in a relationship. And it's none of my business. But my problem stems from what the industry is trying to do. It is trying to prey on people who either lonely, like cute things, want a waifu they can interact with, or their ability to create that illusion that is never broken until it is. And that's the big problem. It's the illusion that these idol industries, these VTuber companies are creating that people get so wrapped up in because that's the point. If you honestly don't believe that the Hololive EN group was created just to cash in on the Western simp culture, there's something wrong with you. They wanted the Western fans, the ones that were craving to have these connections that they weren't able to have connections before. And they're constantly sold on this idea of saying inappropriate things, saying sexual things, yes, and even saying I love you every now and then. Why do they do that? They don't love you. Well, they could love you just for your support and think you're cool people for helping them, but in the end, again, they're people. They're playing a character that this group wants them to create in order to catch your attention and to make you watch them for 5+ hours a day, all for the hope that they'll respond to your message. If you don't believe that's unhealthy, I don't know what to tell you. This is not me to say that I think the idol industry should shut down. This is not me saying go after Hololive. I don't really care. I just want people to see things from a perspective that it's not always just about these 2 comments you found on the internet where they said something really terrible against Rushia or some other idol for being in a relationship, but to really understand, I guess, the manipulation that's actually happening. That the people that are that angry are exactly what those industries want. They want somebody that will pour thousands of dollars of super chats into them. If they cared, they would stop people if they were super chatting too much. But they don't, because they want those people. That's exactly what they want. And so when everybody gets angry at the guy that yells at Rushia and saying that he spent thousands of dollars of super chats, guess what? It's exactly what Hololive likes. They love that guy. And that's the sad thing. That's really the sad thing. And again, that manipulation of people that aren't always in the right mind. People that are very lonely and very sad. And again, not to excuse them, especially the death threats. Don't excuse it at all. I think that's terrible. And again, I want these people to be happy. But the manipulation industry is a very dangerous thing, and it always has been. But at any rate, I hope you guys enjoy this, I guess, different viewpoint into the world of this whole situation, the idols, VTubers, and all that kind of stuff. Definitely something that's been on my mind over the last couple days, especially with the chatter about Rushia. As always, if you like this video, make sure to hit that like button and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the situation. Do you agree, disagree? Are you a Rushia fan that's super mad now? Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video if you can. Support us on Patreon. Our third tips link in the description below. Yes, simp for me. Send me those super chats. And y'all take care.